Good afternoon. This is Wilka Nascimento. I am your host, and this is the Leadership Talks podcast. Today, I have a very special guest, Osman Cuadros. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Wilka. Very happy to be here.
I'm super excited because I just found out probably about 5 minutes ago that we are neighbors in South America.
That's right. Unfortunately, in Bolivia we don't play soccer as well as Brazil, but we try.
Hey, Brazil, they need some training lately, for sure. But Osman, tell me, you also are in the hospitality industry, and how long have you been here in the United States working with the hotels?
Yeah, so it's been about close to 27 years, and I was a tennis player, and I was going to be a PE teacher. But once I started to work in hotels, I guess that I just fell in love like most people, and since then I never left.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. From PE to hotelier. That's an amazing story. In 27 years, it just sounds like you got here yesterday, right?
That's right.
So you're a general manager now. Were you when you started, what position were you in the hotel?
Yep, literally started from the very, from the very bottom. I started as a busboy, and then the server, the bartender, the supervisor, assistant manager, and so forth, so on. But I just spent most of my career in food and beverage. Um, while I was working in hotels, I did a little bit. I spent a few years doing catering in Washington, D.C. with some of the biggest catering companies. So that was an interesting experience. I never thought that as some of the experience that I gained working for catering companies, I was going to be able to really just kind of like bring back into the hotels. But eventually, once I start, just having different roles in hotels, such as banquets, catering, sales, conventions, convention services, I was able to kind of like merge, all that experience.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I also started from the bottom, so I love that song. Start from the bottom, now we here, right? Because I think it resonates with the old the back in the days when we were like just getting fresh from our countries here. Are you first generation?
Yeah,
Um, yes, you are. Wow, just like me, we have so
yeah.
much in common. That's excellent. So Osman, now you are a GM in a hotel in Tyson's Corner, right? And I saw you speaking in a panel where John was hosting this week in Washington, D.C. So, shout out here. And tell me, when you were speaking about culture, right? The hotel culture, how do you emphasize and how do you lead, right, your employees? So if you don't mind, share with the listeners right now, because that resonated with me so much. And that's, I think we should talk about, the hotel culture many more times than what we can, the many more times as much as we can, because in the end of the day, I don't think it's a topic that people talk so much about it.
Yes, no. So I think that, something that we touch base is the fact that we had the opportunity to work, kind of like start from, from scratch, right? In whatever capacity, and then moving our way up. I think that that was probably one of the most beneficial things that happened to me, because throughout the process, let's just say more or less in, 15 years, you work in different companies, you work under a lot of different people, you meet. I mean, I think that's also one of the beautiful things about hotels, how many people you meet. And I think that throughout that journey, you start really kind of like learning the do's and don'ts, right? So then there's a point in our career that we have the opportunity to create a culture around us, as in probably in a little more than in an executive role. And then you really kind of like, I really look back and go kind of like, okay, you know what, when when I was a server, when I was, a front desk agent or whatever title I had, things that I wish I had, right? Things that I wish that my boss would do for me, things that I wish the company would do for me, right? So now I think that we're fortunate to be in this position that we can actually make those decisions to benefit, this kind of like this next generation type of thing.
Yeah, I think I love also the fact that you said, we have like the uniform example that you gave during the panel was like, hey, we have different colors and then you can use and pick whatever you like. What is your favorite? So for me, it was like, this is a way that you are also allowing your employee to make sure that they can be themselves at work.
That's right. Yeah, and in this case again, I'm a little bit perhaps fortunate that I'm in a boutique hotel, so we can kind of like make those decisions comparing when you have a brand they have to follow different standards. But those are like small things, but yes, they do make a difference because yes, I always hated it to go to a new job and it's like here's your uniform. And it didn't feel well. I didn't like the color. I didn't like, so now it's kind of like, hey, I mean, to the team, they can choose their, we give them 10 different type of t-shirts, and they're like vintage concert t-shirts. And it's like, hey, what band do you like? What band do you identify with, right? So now once you're wearing the t-shirt, then you meet a guest, that's already something for them to talk about. It's kind of like that icebreaker. Same thing for housekeepers. I mean, I think that housekeepers, I fully understand, the reason why the uniforms are the way they are in most hotels, in terms of stains and everything else that a housekeeper goes through. But my mindset was more like, why do we put a lot of emphasis in food and beverage to look good, and front desk to look good, where housekeepers we just have a gray uniform, right? So this is where we just came out with different polos, and again, I want to say more or less 8 different colors and bright colors, because again, I mean, I think that also bright colors bring a level of energy, to a room or just to an environment. So then, yeah, and this where we're like, hey, you can have one of each. You can have 7 purple, 7 red, 7 black. I mean, however you feel more comfortable. In addition to that, perhaps a little bit, you know, kind of like borderline, perhaps for some people, but we allow our housekeepers to listen to music while they are working. We do have some standards, just so, they can only use one headphone just for safety reasons and such. But it's been always throughout, my hotel career, it's a no-no, right? No, no way, no.
Right.
How dare you if I find you listening to music? But now it's kind of like, hey, when you are working at the bar as a bartender, you're listening to music. You're in the lobby, you're listening to music when you are front desk agent. So if you're a housekeeper, you can also listen to your music, right? So that's a little bit of the mindset back to leadership about really helping people be themselves, helping people, come to work with a good mindset and just having a good shift, right?
Yeah, in the end of the day, I think also, I remember when I first came, I had the same situation. I'm like, why can't we listen to the music while we are cleaning the rooms? Back in the day, I didn't have the fancy AirPods and such, but my manager at the time, she was like, you can, but it's very not so loud, and then she gave me the explanation. I was like, yeah, okay. But I think that's an amazing approach as well, because again, people are already doing it regardless if you say that
Yeah.
they can or not. Let's be honest. There's not one hotel during checkout time that you walk through the hallways that you don't listen to some music coming from somewhere, right? So it's like, why not make it a, hey, it's okay for you to do that. It's okay for you to have, I don't know, a water with you, and or even like a chair behind the front desk, right? To sit down when it's not busy. It's like, hello, we are all humans, what you like, I like, and I want to be comfortable during work as well, right? So, Osman, what is tell me who inspired you in the hospitality? Do you have a mentor?
Yeah, I mean, I was very fortunate to work with some great leaders, and I have probably three of my old either BPs or GMs that I work for, that I learn a lot from. But at the same time, I'm the type of person that likes to just read different biographies from people that in a way, I wouldn't say admire, but respect, right? In different leadership roles, right? It can be somebody from the government, somebody from sports, coaches from sports. I really, I really, um, a lot of professional coaches, regardless of the sport, I think that a lot of the things that they do is very similar to what we do in a hotel when we have teams under us. In terms of just again, just getting people to be the best they can be, inspiring. I mean, again, I mean the coaching, the counseling, and then also developing just your team. I think there's nothing more rewarding to see team members that perhaps never work in a hotel, and 2 years later you see them in supervisory roles and eventually managerial roles. So that's kind of like how I think I look at leadership, almost just very similar to a sports team.
Yeah, actually, you just made me think of a past general manager, Wes Santos. Huge shout out to him because that's one of his focus when he was leading in the hotel. He wanted to make sure that people was promoted within. So you were doing a job at the front desk and he was already training you for your next job, like your next role, your next move. And he would be so proud to say, oh, I've been training XYZ for 7 months, a year, and now she's ready to take this role in. It didn't matter if it was in the same hotel or in a sister hotel. So he was excited and very energetic about that. And I think one of the challenges, now post pandemic, right, that I hear, because I'm still in the industry, obviously, and I'm like listening to people say, hey, it's a challenge to find people to work, right? Did you encounter anything like that, or how is it going for you, especially, in the summer?
Yes. I think the fact that we are in this case, right? I mean, we opened 10 months ago, and an anniversary actually is coming up September 21st. But I think the fact that we're a new hotel we have very competitive wages, and same thing with benefits. I mean, the hotel is managed by BFSO. BFSO is a very solid, stable company. It's been around for a very long time, and I think that we were able to just, we're fortunate to attract just talent. And in many cases, team members that never worked in a hotel, but they had a lot of different backgrounds. I mean, I was just talking today with we hire an agent for the front desk that was a professional basketball player, you know. So I mean, is that type of examples, that we have experienced. So as much as it takes perhaps a little bit more work and time to train somebody from scratch, the benefits are endless, because as you know, you have somebody that comes with a whole different level experience, expertise, and just a different mindset.
Yeah, that's amazing. And where do you see, your team, or how you specifically develop them, to the next role, for example?
Yes, I believe that the most challenging thing that it just requires the daily work is consistency, where you can train someone one day, you can inspire and recognize anyone one day, but can you really do that every day, right? So that's kind of like our target every day is like, can we be just a little bit better than yesterday, or as good as yesterday at least, but it's kind of like really maintaining the same tempo and the same mindset. And then I think that big hotels, for anybody that knows hotels understands that hotels are very complex. Perhaps people that don't really know hotels just have really no idea in how much anyone needs to learn to be able to just do quote unquote basic job, such as, like, again, if we talk about the front desk, or I mean, anybody just thinks that it's checking people in and out, right? But only we know everything that goes around that key role. And then we have a really nice Japanese restaurant with a really extensive bar menu. A lot of bourbons, whiskeys, Japanese whiskeys, sake. So you cannot learn everything in 30 days or 90 days. So it's just constant learning, but that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun. And we have a great team. I mean, we have an outstanding chef. We have a great beverage director, a great restaurants and bar director. So we look. When we talk about the hotel, we say that we just have like 100 projects, right? Because every team member, including leaders, everybody's a project.
Oh, absolutely. And for sure, I'll be checking out the restaurant. I love sushi. I love sake. So I'll be stopping by sometime, for a staycation or so. But do you have any, I know we are running out of time, but do you have any advice for folks that are interested in the hospitality industry? And what would that be?
I would say is the best decision that they could ever make. The hospitality industry is a very rewarding industry. A lot of room for growth. I mean, a lot of room for advancements. And if that individual likes people, and that individual is willing to work hard, there's nothing that will stop you, right? I mean, literally, the sky's the limit.
Absolutely. And also, I think it's like makes the world goes around, right? Anywhere in the world where you want to go, you have a hotel that you can identify yourself and, maybe adventure as well. And, getting that dream job, right? In, I don't know, in Paris, in New York, right? Or even,
That's right.
a small town like we are here in the DMV area. But I thank you so much, Osman, for this time. I'm sure your hotel will do fantastic. It will continue to succeed, right? Even past pandemic, because opening a hotel during this time, believe me, it's not an easy task.
That's for sure. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
It was a pleasure. And thank you again for listening to the Leadership Talks. Have a great day,
Thank
everyone.
you.